The Silent Tomb, Ancient Egyptian Sleep Tales, the Whispering Sands of Amarna. The desert stretched endlessly beneath the golden glow of the setting sun. Waves of sand rippled like an ancient sea, shifting with the whisper of the evening breeze. A lone traveler, wrapped in a flowing linen cloak, pressed forward, his footsteps sinking into the soft earth. He had walked for days, following a path that no map could trace, guided only by the whispers of legend and the pull of something unseen. As the sky deepened into twilight, the shape emerged from the dunes. Half buried beneath centuries of shifting sands, a forgotten tomb lay waiting. Its entrance was adorned with faded hieroglyphs, their stories etched into the stone long before time had claimed them. The traveler ran his fingers over the symbols, tracing their worn edges as if awakening them from their slumber. A shiver coursed through him, not of fear, but of quiet reverence. With careful steps, he descended into the tomb, the cool air a stark contrast to the desert's embrace. The glow of his lantern flickered against the walls, revealing painted figures frozen in time, priests, pharaohs, gods with eyes that seemed to watch his every move. At the heart of the chamber lay a stone sarcophagus, its lid adorned with the image of a prince, his arms crossed in eternal rest. The traveler knelt beside it, feeling the weight of history pressing against his chest. The hieroglyphs around the tomb whispered their secrets to him, their meanings unfolding like the pages of an ancient scroll. The prince had been a dreamer, longing for a sleep so deep that even the gods would not wake him. He had wished not for riches, nor for power, but for silence, an eternal slumber where the burdens of the world could never find him. As the traveler closed his eyes, he could almost hear the echoes of the past. The wind outside shifted, carrying with it the soft murmurs of a forgotten time. The stars, now gleaming in the sky above, cast their light through the narrow entrance of the tomb, illuminating the sarcophagus in a celestial glow. The traveler exhaled, his body sinking into the cool stone floor. The hush of the tomb wrapped around him like a lullaby, the whispers of the sands cradling him in their embrace. Here, in the heart of the desert, beneath the watchful eyes of the ancients, he too found peace. And as sleep claimed him, the winds carried his breath away, blending it with the whispers of Amarna, the guardian of the lotus chamber. The temple stood in quiet solitude, its stone walls kissed by the golden hues of the setting sun. Nestled at the edge of the Nile, its pillars had witnessed the ebb and flow of time, standing as silent sentinels to an age long past. Within its depths, beneath layers of history and forgotten prayers, a hidden chamber lay undisturbed, its secret known only to the whispers of the wind and the watchful gaze of the stars. A weary scholar approached, his sand-worn robes trailing behind him as he ascended the temple steps. His journey had been long, guided by fragments of ancient texts that spoke of a place untouched by time, a sanctuary of wisdom where the air itself held the echoes of enlightenment. With a steadying breath, he crossed the threshold, the cool stone beneath his feet offering relief from the desert's embrace. The corridors stretched before him, adorned with faded hieroglyphs and murals that whispered silent tales of gods and mortals entwined. His fingertips traced the worn carvings, feeling the pulse of history beneath his skin. And then, as if drawn by an unseen force, he followed a narrow passage downward, the air growing heavier, richer alive. At the end of the passage, a single door stood, its frame entwined with delicate lotus motifs. He pressed his palm against the ancient wood, and with a gentle sigh, yielded. The chamber beyond was bathed in an ethereal glow. A vast pool stretched before him, its waters as still as glass, reflecting the flickering light of unseen torches. Floating upon its surface were countless lotus flowers, their petals blooming in an eternal dance of color, soft pinks, luminous whites, deep blues. The air was thick with their fragrance, a scent both familiar and otherworldly, carrying the weight of forgotten wisdom. He stepped forward, his breath catching as the chamber pulsed with an invisible presence. It was not threatening nor cold. It was warm, welcoming, like the embrace of a long-lost friend. The guardian was here, not seen, not heard, yet felt in the deepest part of his soul. A hush fell over his mind, the noise of the world dissolving into the quiet hum of existence itself. His knees grew weak, and he sank onto the stone floor, his eyes growing heavy. The water shimmered, and the flowers swayed, though no wind stirred. Slowly, his thoughts unraveled, giving way to a vision of a time when a temple was alive with priests in flowing robes, their chants rising like the river's song, of pharaohs kneeling before the sacred pool, seeking counsel from the unseen, of a guardian who had watched over it all, ensuring the delicate harmony between past and present remained unbroken. The scholar exhaled, his body growing lighter, his mind drifting into a realm where time was but a gentle tide, lapping softly against eternity. The guardian watched, silent and unseen, as the lotus flowers continued to bloom, and the scholar slept, embraced by the wisdom of the ages. The pharaoh's lullaby. The palace stood bathed in the golden glow of flickering oil lamps, its towering columns stretching into the night like silent sentinels of a forgotten age. Outside, the Nile whispered against its banks, carrying secrets beneath the starlit sky. The air was thick with the scent of lotus blossoms and the distant hum of a world slowly settling into slumber. Deep within the grand halls, past the carved pillars and gilded doorways, the young prince lay nestled beneath silken sheets. The vast chamber around him, though adorned with treasures of the earth, felt too large, too empty. He stared at the ceiling where constellations had been painted in shimmering gold, mirroring the heavens above. Beside him, an old nursemaid sat, her hands folded in her lap, her eyes filled with the wisdom of years. She had rocked pharaohs to sleep before him, had whispered their dreams into being, had sung lullabies that carried their fears away on the wings of the wind. And tonight she would do the same for him. With a voice as soft as the river's lull, she began to sing. "O art great traveler of the sky, guide the sun where dreams lie. Let moonlight cradle the restless king, as the stars above softly sing." The boy's breath slowed, his body sinking deeper into the warmth of his bed. The melody wove through the air like a gentle tide, its cadence rising and falling with the rhythm of the night. He closed his eyes, imagining the journey of the sun god Are as he sailed across the sky. In his mind's eye, he saw the golden barge drifting through the heavens, leaving trails of fire and light in its wake. The nursemaid's voice wove another tale of the sacred tombs hidden deep within the cliffs of the Valley of the Kings, where great rulers rested undisturbed, wrapped in the embrace of eternity. She sang of the goddess Nut, her arms stretched wide across the sky, her body forming the arch of the heavens, shielding all beneath her in an eternal slumber. Fear not, my child, for night is kind. A mother's arms a moonlight bind. Sleep in peace, for time shall keep a Pharaoh's rest, a dream so deep. The boy stirred only slightly, his breath now deep, his small hands unclenching from the folds of his linen sheets. The wind outside carried the echoes of the lullaby, mixing with the rippling currents of the Nile. Somewhere in the vast palace, torches flickered, their flames swaying as if bowing to the sacred melody. The nursemaid's song faded into a hum, her fingers brushing lightly over the boy's forehead, a silent blessing, an unspoken prayer. His dreams had already taken him far, beyond the palace walls, beyond the riverbanks, beyond even the sky itself, where Ra's golden barge awaited him. And so, beneath the watchful eyes of the gods, the young prince slept, wrapped in the tender embrace of the Pharaoh's lullaby, the eternal dream of Seti's tomb. The desert night was cool, a welcome relief from the relentless sun that had ruled the sky only hours before. Beneath a canopy of stars, the lone scribe made his way through a narrow passage carved into the heart of the cliffs. His lantern flickered with each hesitant step, its golden glow casting long shadows against the ancient stone. The air was thick with the scent of earth and time itself. The walls of the corridor, untouched for centuries, bore the sacred inscriptions of a forgotten world. With careful hands, he brushed away the dust of ages, revealing painted hieroglyphs still vibrant beneath the layers of silence. They told a story of a dream, one that had not ended, even as the centuries passed. He stepped forward, deeper into the tomb, until he reached the grand chamber. There, at its heart, rested the sarcophagus of Pharaoh Seti I, its surface adorned with delicate carvings of gods and celestial journeys. The scribe placed a trembling hand upon it, feeling the cool stone beneath his fingertips. A whisper stirred through the chamber, though no wind had followed him inside. His breath slowed. His mind grew light. The weight of the present dissolved. The hieroglyphs shimmered, their shapes shifting, reforming, breathing. He blinked once, and the chamber around him blurred into something new, something ancient. He was no longer alone. Figures moved around him, their robes trailing like whispers in the wind. The scent of burning incense filled the air, mingling with the soft murmurs of unseen voices. He turned, and before him stood Seti I, his presence regal yet serene, his eyes deep pools of knowing. The scribe opened his mouth to speak, but no words came. There was no need. Seti raised a hand, gesturing toward the walls. The scribe followed his gaze. The murals now moved like flowing water, depicting endless dreamscapes, souls drifting upon a celestial river, the sky unfolding like a vast ocean of stars. He saw himself among them, weightless, floating, carried by unseen currents through the ages. He understood now. This tomb was not a resting place. It was a doorway, an eternal dream, where time held no dominion, where the past and the present wove together in an endless, quiet embrace. A soft pull, like a breeze through an open window, guided him deeper into the dream. His body grew lighter, his thoughts dissolving into the hush of eternity. Outside, the desert wind whispered against the cliffs. The lantern by the entrance flickered once more, then stilled. And deep within the tomb of Seti I, the scribe slept, lost in the eternal dream, where the sands of time could never reach him.